300,000 years ago, a bolt of lightning struck a dry tree in Africa. A small tribe of early humans watched it burn from a safe distance. Every animal on Earth ran away from fire, but one human walked toward it. That single moment changed our species forever. To understand this story, we need to go back. Way back. 300,000 years ago, our ancestors, early Homo sapiens, lived in small bands of 20 to 30 people. No cities, no farms, no tools made of metal. Just a group of humans, their hands, and the wild world around them. Life was brutal, dangerous, and very, very cold at night. They ate raw food, they slept in trees or caves to avoid predators, and every single night when the sun went down, the darkness was total. No light, no warmth, no protection. That was their world. Fire was not new to early humans. Lightning strikes had been setting forests ablaze for millions of years. And every creature on Earth, including our ancestors, was absolutely terrified of it. It was loud. It was hot. It destroyed everything it touched. To run from fire was not cowardice. It was survival. But here is what made humans different. While every other animal only felt fear when they saw fire, humans felt something else too. Curiosity. One human, let's call him Kale, couldn't stop looking at it. The warmth he could feel from even this distance. The way animals stayed away from it. The light it threw into the darkness. Something in his mind began to connect the dots. The morning after the fire, Kale did something extraordinary. He walked into the burned area. The rest of the tribe thought he had lost his mind. They gestured frantically for him to come back. But Kale kept walking, one careful step at a time, into the ash, into the smoke, toward the unknown. And then he saw it. A branch, still glowing, hot, but no longer burning. He crouched down and stared at it. For a long moment, he didn't move. He had never been this close to fire before, and yet he didn't run. He reached out and touched it. The branch burned his finger instantly. He jumped back with a yelp. The tribe behind him gasped, but Kale looked at his finger and then looked back at the branch. He didn't run. He tried again. Using a stone, he carefully rolled the branch and picked it up at the cool end. The flame danced above his hand. He was holding fire. For the first time in the history of our species, a human was holding fire. He stood there for a moment, almost disbelieving. Then he turned and walked back toward his tribe. His tribe panicked. They scattered in every direction, hiding behind rocks, climbing trees, covering their eyes. But Kale stood calmly in the center of the chaos, holding the flame steady. And gradually, one by one, they came back, because the warmth felt incredible. That first night around a campfire changed everything. For the first time, they were warm after dark. They could see each other, they could talk, they could look into each other's faces, instead of sitting blind in the darkness. And then, something moved at the edge of the light. A cave lion. It crept toward them from the shadows, saw the fire, and turned away. Fire was not just warmth. Fire was a shield. Then came the accident that changed human biology forever. Someone dropped a piece of meat into the fire. They pulled it out, still hot, and carefully took a bite. Cooked meat. It was softer, richer, easier to chew. And here is why that matters. Cooking food breaks down proteins before digestion. It gave early humans far more energy from the same amount of food. Scientists believe this energy boost literally fueled the growth of the human brain. Fire didn't just warm us, fire made us smarter. Over the following generations, humans discovered more and more uses for fire. They used torches to explore dark caves that had never been seen before. They hardened wooden spear tips in the flame, making them sharper and stronger. They used fire on hilltops to signal to other tribes across vast valleys. The campfire became the first meeting room, the first kitchen, the first alarm system, and the first source of light in a world of endless darkness. But there was one terrifying problem. Early humans could not create fire. They could only find it from lightning strikes, from wildfires. When their fire went out, they had nothing. Sometimes they had to travel hundreds of miles just to find a natural flame to bring back. For thousands of years, this was the reality. You didn't just lose fire. Losing fire could mean losing everything. Then, around 70,000 years ago, came the next great discovery. A woman was shaping flint rocks into tools, striking stone against stone, and she noticed something. Sparks. Tiny, bright, fleeting sparks. landing on the dry grass in front of her. She paused and struck the stones again. Deliberately this time. More sparks. And then a tiny flame appeared. She knelt down and blew gently on the ember. The flame grew. For the first time in history, a human had created fire, not found it, not borrowed it from a lightning strike, created it from nothing. The tribe gathered around her in silence, watching a miracle that no living creature had ever witnessed before. This knowledge spread from tribe to tribe, from elder to child, from generation to generation. The ability to make fire, not just use it, was the unlock that changed everything. Humans could now survive in colder climates. They could migrate north, into Europe, into Asia. They no longer had to follow the warmth. They carried it with them. And so they walked, thousands of humans across thousands of miles, each carrying the flame that one curious man had first dared to touch, over mountains, across frozen tundra, through jungles and deserts. They lit their way through the darkness of a prehistoric world and never stopped moving until they had reached every corner of the earth. And around every campfire they built, humans did something no other animal had ever done. They told stories. They made plans for tomorrow. They laughed. They mourned. They taught their children. The campfire was where human culture was born, where language grew richer, where ideas became civilization. Every great thing humans have ever built started around a fire. We didn't survive because we were the strongest, or the fastest, or the largest. We survived because one human looked at the thing that terrified every creature on Earth and felt something different. Curiosity, and was brave enough to reach out and touch it. We are the children of that moment, every single one of us. If this story moved you, subscribe, because next week we're covering the first mammoth hunt. 10 early humans, 1 6-ton beast, nothing but wooden spears. You won't want to miss it.